I want to thank everybody for tuning in live to this show this very hot night. I'm not even going to lie to you guys. We're having a little bit of a heat wave here in Europe, and it actually kind of reminds me of Japanese summers. So it's got that kind of humid, hot, and just uncomfortable kind of heat. So I'm going to do the best I can tonight. I'm gonna sweat my way because there's no air conditioning in this so place. It's got that to speak of. At least in Japan, I had aircon. So I'm gonna do the best I can tonight. I'm getting a little bit of a hold on. Right. Hey, hello there. Welcome. All right. Yeah. So really hot here in Europe. Super hot day today. Making it through it. Again, like I said, it really reminds me of Japan. We had summers like this, but with no air conditioning, it makes it a little bit brutal. And here in my studio room, if I had the window open, the street noise would just be too much. I'm high up, but still too much noise to have the window open where I'm doing these live streams. So like I said, I'll sit here and sweat through it with you guys because I got a lot of stuff to talk about this evening. A lot of interesting things. I'll wait a little bit while people gather in. Yeah. Actually, let me reach over here and talk about the first thing that I want to get into tonight is this pedal right here. Now, for those of you who are watching live now, or if you're going to be watching this later on, maybe you might remember this story. Excuse me, guys. Maybe if I open this up. No, that doesn't make it better. It actually made it louder. If you guys remember, 4 years ago, I ordered this pedal from Electric Magic, which is a company out of Pennsylvania. It's a builder, a guy named Tommy. He builds these by hand. I placed an order for this while I was living in Singapore. And I just yesterday received this pedal finally. It took 4 years for me to get this from him. And, I wanted to hate it. I really wanted to hate it a lot because all the time, I put the order in on this thing. Time goes by. He's not answering his emails. Actually, just to rehash this a little bit, I did a live stream. No, I'm sorry. I did a show on this. I filmed a program talking about, be careful from ordering from this guy. And that was 2 years ago. And then it already almost been 2 years at that point since I put the order in. Paid cash, full, just never got it. Well, recently he reached out to me. I've been trying to send him emails every 6 months or so. Hey, and figure if I pester him, eventually he would get to it. 4 years later, he finally did. He said, hey, I'll send it out to you. And he actually sent it out really quick. So here it is. And I wanted to hate it for all those reasons. Again, like I said, all the drama and all the things that I had to go through to get it. But the truth is that I love this pedal. Excuse me, guys. Let me let my cat out. All right, sorry about that. I love this thing. And it actually, on my pedal board, it's replacing my Joyo California sound. This is an amp in a box that replicates a Mesa Boogie amp. A really cheap pedal. You can get these just about anywhere. But, the price of them are inexpensive, but for an amp in a box, these Joyo pedals are excellent. But truth being told, this handmade pedal from Tommy over at Electric Magic, which is based on a Vox 730 series amp. The Vox 730 series amp had a built-in fuzz circuit in it, which was either on or off. And it produced, so you had, and it was also, the preamp was solid state. It was the first solid state preamp that Vox had done. This was around 1966. The 430 and the 730. They came out with these amps that had solid state preamps So this pedal is based upon that 730 series Vox preamp, which is, it's got all the FET circuitry and all that stuff in it like the original did. And it, again, like I said, the original had that fuzz that was either on or off. This one is mimicking it with it on. However, there are knobs on here that you can use that will determine how much of that fuzz tone. Whereas in the original version of this pedal and in the original version that of the amp, the 730 amp that this is based on, you didn't have that option. It was either on or off. Led Zeppelin 2. Think of that. That was this amp, the 730 amp. Paperback Writer by the Beatles. That was a 730 amp. That fuzzy, fizzy kind of sound. I love it. Honestly, this is a fantastic sounding pedal. It really, you can dial that fuzz tone in or out, but what it does is it has a grit to it. It's a Vox on steroids. It really gives you that Vox chime. It cleans up really nice, very intricate when you play chords and the individual notes. You can hear them very clearly with this. However, when you dig into it, it really just it has a dirt and a grit to it that I just love. It's one of the reasons why I love the Mesa Boogie, because it also cleans up very nice, but gets a little bit of grit to it when you need it. This thing, it's got it in spades. So it has made itself a permanent member on my pedal board here. I have yet to dial it in, but from just sitting here and just going through it, basically it's awesome. And so it's a it's a bit of a hassle that it took 4 years for Tommy to build this. It is built by hand. And I checked because I'm not the only person that's had this problem. A lot of people were having that issue with Tommy, where they were placing orders and just weren't getting them. But because of the scarcity and also because of the reputation, he's got a bad reputation as a business guy, but as a pedal builder, it's pretty good. The value of this, since I put that initial order in 4 years ago, actually, if you can find them, and they are very difficult to find on the secondhand market, because I guess people get them and they don't want to let them go, it's actually doubled in price. So yeah, it's kind of one of those, you win some battles, you win some wars kind of thing. You lost the battle, but you won the war kind of thing, because yeah, it took 4 years, but it has really gone up in value. Not that I care about that, because I had things that went up in value. They were just crap. I didn't keep them. I let them go. But in this case, it's actually a great sounding pedal, and it just screams to me, hold on to me. So I'll let it go 6 months before I let it go, or keep it. I always give everything 6 months if I can. But the fact that it doubled in value since I ordered it is a great segue into tonight's subject. The title of this show is the most recession-proof guitar that you're going to have is the one that you already own. And what do I mean by that? What is my idea behind that thought process? Well, let's talk about what something is when it's recession-proof. When something is recession-proof, it means that it holds its value. During recession, some stocks hold their value. Some companies hold their value. Interestingly enough, alcohol manufacturers are the most recession-proof company you can own or invest in. That's kind of a no-brainer there. Gold, of course, being something that's recession-proof, and believe it or not, amongst those assets, guitars certainly can be recession-proof. In the case of vintage guitars, they go up in value on average about 10% per year. They fight they go up a little bit slightly higher than the rate of inflation. unless it's really bad inflation like we have right now. But for the most part, yeah, guitars can be something that is recession proof. Now, um, what do I mean by the guitar that you own right now is the most recession proof? Well, the fact of the matter is, if you bought your guitar, anytime within the last 6 months or further out, going into last year, which was the biggest sales for guitars in the history of, of most companies, um, then you purchased your guitar at a time before the price increases and the inflation that we're seeing creeping up steadily every day. Wow, the prices in the grocery store are just off the chart. But here in Europe, just watching them go up. But yeah, if you bought it then hey, good morning, sir. Thank you for joining in. Uh, but if you bought in during that time, then you kind of recession proofed your instrument for the most part. For the most part, because we saw going into immediately into January, where Gibson, Fender, and a lot of the other companies began to raise their prices. And if you bought obviously before that, then you're doing all right. In the case of my Epiphone 59 kit, I paid 700 euros cash, or right now with the exchange rate, basically $700 for it. If I were to put it up right now for $700, I would get $700 for it very quickly. So it turned out to be a recession-proof guitar. Now, not all are. Some have lost their values. Some, like the Acoustasonics, there's too many of them out on the market, in my opinion, in too many different colors and configurations that it actually devalued. If you bought one of the original ones, it brought the value down. And that leads to my next statement, that price is not value. Um, Price is a map, and value is the territory. And that map is extremely subjective and very individual. I'll say that again, price is not value. You have to have a counterparty. You have to have somebody that agrees with you that they're willing to pay whatever it is you're asking for that. And again, when you're looking at somebody who's buying on the market right now, they're looking at the fact that every day they may be seeing, not every day, but they can certainly see when they're keeping an eye. I'm thinking about buying that. Let me keep an eye on it. We all do that. We can steadily see some things going up, and we can also see some things dropping down. Again, because we're starting to establish that, that that price. And the value of it hasn't quite been established yet. So what is the true value? What is the true value of this thing is still floating with some things. But that's not all things. And again, if you bought your guitar, my thoughts here are that if you bought your guitar prior to these price increases, then you've already somewhat recession-proofed your guitar. I was watching a YouTube channel where, again, the gentleman had guitars that he had bought over, older gentleman in his 60s. He had bought them over the course of 12 years, over a decade or more in some of them. And he had his price of, he demonstrated what he paid for it, and then he showed what its current book price is, what the value is in the guitar, with like the Kelly's Blue Book of Guitars. I forget the name of that publication right now, but anyway, it tells you all the price of guitars going vintage and whatnot. So he went through that, and he actually discovered that he had a loss actually on most of his guitars. However, If you factor in the fact that he got to own them, play them, and enjoy them, and if you factor that into, what would that cost? Basically, what would the rent of that be, or how much would the opportunity cost? What would that be for you? Um, he just came to the conclusion that, yeah, I may have lost money on some of these, but I did enjoy them. And so I don't want to throw that factor out. But the truth is that a lot of his actually went down. Um, but the ones that were most successful in his case actually were the ones that he bought when the market was not demanding on them, when they were not at a high premium. He bought them at a time when they were low, and some of them did actually go up in value. One that kind of offset everything is it actually doubled in value. So there's like I said, there's cases in there. But we're going to focus on the fact that he bought his when the market was low. And that's the point of this thesis that I'm putting forward tonight, is that if you've already bought, then you're in a good place. Buying now, hopefully to try to see if you're going to get your money back, is actually a big risk. It's a big risk. And the whole point of this discussion is just to say right now would be the time, because of that risk, that for the reasons that I just laid out. I just wouldn't see myself personally as a buyer in this current market right now. I have money that came in from the sale of that black SG Epiphone that I didn't want to let go, but unfortunately it was too much of a basket case. I got a little bit of money back on that, so that goes into my guitar fund. And when I get a little bit of extra money, I just fund that. I just put a little bit of money into that. So I figure in the next 3 or 4 months, I'll have enough money in that fund that I can then start looking around the landscape and seeing who's selling, and being in a good cash position to be able to negotiate or not. But the point is that buying right now would be a big risk, in my opinion. I would hold on to cash and sideline it and wait a few months. Wait till the trees get shook out a little bit, so to speak, before you start getting into purchasing any instruments or any of the equipment that is on the pricey end. I really like those universal audio pedals that they came out. I really want to try that. There was that Dream 65 pedal. I would really, really, really like to try that out. But right now, the market on that, it's still new enough that I haven't seen any discounts on that. I know that there will be eventually in the secondhand market, because certainly people got those, they're enjoying them, then they're deciding they're going to let those go. It would be a good idea for me just to hold off and wait for the secondhand market on those. I'm sure I can get a relatively good quality one that has been run through too much. They are, well, for the most part, still brand new. So unless the guy was dragging it behind his truck every night, I'm sure it'll be fine. But again, like I said, I just don't think right now is the time to engage in making those kind of purchases. It's a big risk. It's a real big risk, because the markets are they're in too much flux. And again, like I said, with Fenders, which I don't talk about a lot. I mostly talk about Epiphones and Gibsons, but Fenders, they have really, the more I look into that layoff story that I did last week that I covered, they've really done themselves a great disservice, in my opinion, because they've flooded the market now with a product that, may or may not be something that is wanted or needed by the retailers. But of course, if you're a dealer, you're forced to buy that inventory and take it in. And I think that I mentioned the Acoustasonics. I know those are getting marked down. You can get those for a fraction of what they were when they were first introduced. and a lot of their other guitars. So again, like I said, manufacturers are shooting themselves in the foot right now, and I think that if you have cash and you're waiting in the sidelines, and if you can hold off, like I said, Thanksgiving, Christmas time for you in the States, Christmas time for us here in Europe, I think that you're going to find yourself to have a very Merry Christmas. Indeed, but not now. That's just kind of my thesis is that, you, you I say take care of the stuff that you have. That's what you need to be doing right now. Instead of focusing on buying things, I would say service the things that you have. For example, I put up a YouTube short here today. Isn't that something? I put that short up today, and that thing has gotten almost 5,000, 6,000 views in one day. That one little short talking about me taking my Echoplex down to get serviced, to get checked out and serviced. And that's an amazing thing how YouTube really, the algorithm really pushes those shorts. That was an astounding amount of eyes on that thing in such a short amount of time for my channel. So that was cool. That was a good thing that I put that up. But that's an example of me taking something in and having it serviced. That's what I'm concentrating on right now, is making sure that everything that I have in the studio right now, especially since I just finished an album, just to get everything back to top shape again. So my Laney amp, my beloved Laney amp, my 1x12 combo amp, tomorrow, I'm taking that into the same guy who serviced the Echoplex for me, and going to have that gone through. Might even do a rewire on it. I have some ideas about things for that amp that I'd like to personalize it a little bit more than I have, which is a lot. I've done a lot to it. But the cool thing is that I'll have to replace it for a short moment. I'll have a Blues Junior, Fender Blues Junior in. It's not my amp. I'm actually picking up for our friendly local luthier Fern. But I'm sure Fern will be kind enough for me to keep it for a few days. At least I can show you guys how the Blues Junior sounds. Maybe I'll run my new 7 series pedal through that, because we all know that Fender Blues Juniors are perfect platforms for pedals. Those are fantastic. So yeah, it's a 1x12, fantastic for that. So when I do my demo, I guess I'll do it with the Blues Junior amp 1x12 combo and this pedal. So you have that to look forward to this week. I did a few other things that I did around maintenance wise. So you get my point, is just to take things in and to get them serviced. That's the things that you want to be spending your money on right now, to make sure that all your gear is good, because you just don't know. This is the time to be kind of doing your housekeeping, is my point. In terms of buying guitars, yeah, sure, if you got to pull that trigger, you really feel that urge, sure, just go ahead, and do it. But I really wouldn't. I really wouldn't. It's a big risk right now with price and value, man. The discovery there is really shaky. And again, I'll reemphasize the fact that buying right now in this market is a big risk. This is going to hurt. This recession is going to hurt. And, a lot of people are going to find themselves in a position where they're going to have to sell things. But I would say sell the guitars, the ones that you care about the least, first, and hold on to your good ones, because those are your recession-proof assets. Again, going back to the thesis of tonight's program. Excuse me. But a lot of us are going to find ourselves in that position where you might have to let stuff go. I hope not. If you've been smart in your purchases, if something's not working, let it go immediately. It's like, I get back to that SG. I guess you guys, I'm talking about it a lot because it really kind of burns me up. I'll never buy B stock again. I learned my lesson on that. I put money into that. Hell, I recorded. I did one recording on my album with that guitar. A song called "If We Were Made for Each Other." The wah wah parts I did with, well, anyway, my wah wah, my vintage wah, and it's gone, and that just, it makes me mad because it's just started falling apart on me. And again, I sold it at a loss, but I didn't want something like that around because the longer I held on to it, I just felt its value was just it was going to get more and more difficult for me to let that thing go or to be able to move it on. Or let's see what else. Yeah, I guess that's really it. That's really just, I covered it pretty much there. I really want to emphasize the importance of just hanging on to what you got and keeping it in good shape. Now, if you got a vintage guitar, like some of you folks out there in the audience, you're doing great. Again, like I said, talk about a recession-proof item. Again, 10% you can expect year on year your value increase on your vintage guitars. We're talking about stuff from the 50s and 60s. 70s stuff, some of it, yeah, sure. Custom shop stuff, absolutely. That stuff, especially the Gibson custom shop stuff, it tends to generally hold its value. I'm not going to say you're going to get 100% of what you put into it, but it's one of those things where you'll be in the 80 to 90% range, where it won't sting so bad. There are odd ones, like I said. Everything by Joe Bonamassa from Epiphone seems to be. I saw his 3 pickup Black Beauty today for sale for $2,000. And there were inquiries on it, okay? That, the 3 pickup custom that he put out, that thing was, what, 800 or something like that when you got it new, if you could get your hands on one. That thing is going for, I've seen 2 of them, one for 15 and one for 2,000. Blew my mind. I was like, wow. His Lazarus guitar that he came out with, those things are going for $1,400-$1,500 too. They were retailing for around $850 or something, $899, something like that. Wow, man! Look at the value on this. Again, some things you just have to kind of look at them and ask yourself, is this something that has a track record of going up? And Joe's guitars, the Epiphone guitars, those things are excellent investments if you can get them when they come out of the shop. You get it brand new and get your hands on a Bonamassa, you're doing good, man. You've got yourself something. Hold on to it. It blows my mind. That's consistently, I can't think of one of Joe's Epiphones that hasn't gone up in value. I cannot say the same about other people. I don't know if that Matt Hefty guitar is going to hold its value going down here into the dirt of inflation and recession. We shall see, but that right now, that is the most expensive Epiphone that you can purchase. The Jared James Nichols Gold Glory and Black Glory, those are holding their value, but you haven't seen that kind of burst of price, doubling of price that you see with Joe's stuff. It's just amazing. So yeah, if you can ever get your hands on, if Epiphone comes out with something with Joe Bonamassa's name on it, and you got cash, money right then on the spot, buy it. It's a buy. As I guarantee you, within it that I've seen over the years, within a year, maybe 2 years, you more than get your money back on that. So yeah, those are recession-proof things. So if you have those, then you're doing okay. Again, like I said, there's some odd off ones that are holding their value. But just again, it's my same old mantra. Week after week, I dress it up in different dresses, but she's the same old girl. Is right now, guys. I'm just being that guy in the corner saying, "Hey, you might want to think about this right now. You might want to hold off on that." If you're a guitar collector, then more power to you. Uh, Again, I've seen examples of guitar collectors. Unless again, like I said, they're buying the vintage stuff. But if they're just buying, the modern stuff, it's a crapshoot as to whether or not they're going to get their money back on them, if they're interested in flipping them at all. If they're holding on to them to enjoy them, then as I always said, more power to you. I don't discourage that at all, and I don't frown upon that. They're made to be enjoyed and played. So if you need 10 or 20 or 30 guitars to rotate through one every day of the month, and that's your thing, then more power to you. But for me, um, as you know, I've scaled down. I've scaled down. I've scaled down. I'm still in the market for something, but I'm putting that cash on the sidelines. A little bit that I got back on that. Well, I won't say a little bit, but I got most of three-fourths, not even three, a little shy of three-fourths of my money back on that. But that goes into the next guitar fund because I need to replace that. That was a guitar that I got with the money from my first YouTube cash that I got when I hit 1,000. And it was, I wanted to hold on to that. But again, like I said, if you got stuff laying around that's not making the cut or is going to cost you down the line to repair and you're just not in love with it, let it go. Let it go now. The sooner you let things go, the better off you are because, like I said, the flooding of the market is starting. That tsunami of stuff that people are going to be sitting around saying, "Hey, we don't need this. Baby needs diapers. We need to pay the gas bill." And if you're married, God help you. And you got some. I take my own beating on that. I've got my own little mic on my shoulder, but some of you guys, your wives, they go around, hey, what's up with that? I knew this. I told you guys this story. I was selling my Dan Electro right before I left Singapore because that was yet another guitar that it's cool, but I'm not digging the Dan Electro sound. It's just not for me. It was a cool thing to have, but I sold it to this guy, and I had to meet him at a coffee shop around the corner from my house. And I said, "Why all the cloak and dagger on this thing, And he says, "I got to get it home before my wife gets home from work, and put it in with my other guitars so she doesn't notice it." He figured if he put it in with all these other guitars he had, she wouldn't notice that he had bought another one. Boy, I don't even know where to start with that. I wouldn't even want to be in that kind of situation, man. But it cracked me up that he said British guy too, older British guy too, and he looked like an investment banker, or one of those types of cats there in Singapore. So, but he was still hiding guitars from his wife. And so, yeah, man, if you're doing stuff like that, then you need to stop. Just stop. You really need to stop. Yeah, it's just true story, man. Tall British guy, silvering hair. He's like, "I've got to hide it from my wife, mate. If I put it with the other ones, she won't even notice." I'm like, all right, cool, man. I guess I can dig that. But yeah, what you need to be doing is tightening up, is all I'm saying, guys. YouTube is a very interesting place. When things are good and everybody's flush with cash, when you do channels like mine and you're reviewing stuff, then you're doing all right because everybody wants to see the newest gear. Everybody's interested. Funny, I know how that is. Well, yeah, yeah, man. Like I said, that's a tough position to be in, but I'm sure it was not unique to him. But when you start a channel like this, you kind of have to pivot depending upon the times. And I never started this thing out with the intention of selling you stuff. As a matter of fact, I got a second. My mother plans to visit. She'll stay every time. Promise you, you're not going to buy anymore. Yes, yeah, Ben. My father. I was in LA. The last time I saw them, my family, was 2019. Was the last time I was in the States. And I was on my buying spree. I bought two guitars on that trip, two Gibsons that we documented on this channel. And I went to him, and he was sitting there on his couch in his house, watching his TV, in full retirement mode. And he said, "What did you do today?" Well, I was running around. I bought some guitars, and he just put his head down and shook his head because to my pop, he just doesn't understand investing in those kinds. For him, that seems frivolous and silly. So from that, but I understood that from him, and I could explain to him, but Dad, this one is a '93 Les Paul that is a custom shop precursor. It has these features on. It's got this and it's got this value to it, and I know I can get this value if I take it back here with it. You can't even get into that with him. He just sees, why are you buying all these guitars? So, yeah, I can dig that. I've been in that position. I remember him just sitting there shaking his head. But but really, I always have done it from an investment standpoint. It's very rare that I buy something that I haven't fully really looked into. Again, that's why I said why the SG kind of is burning me still, because I really like that guitar. I actually kind of miss it, and I want to replace it with something, but not now, not anytime soon, not even remotely anytime. We're talking maybe Christmas. I might take a look at my guitar fund and see how much is in there, and see what the lay of the land is. But I've got nothing definitive in my mind right now. And quite frankly, that Harley Benton SC Custom that I completely pimped out. I mean, new wiring, new pots, new caps, new pickups, new tuners. That thing is a screamer. So it does scratch my SG itch, and it's just an awesome sounding guitar. There's just really no doubt about that. That thing is a monster sounding guitar now. So I'm all right. I'm not looking at it. But the point is, guys, is again my same old pitch. It'll never change. I didn't start this channel to sell you things. I got an email today, not today, but the day before, another saying, "Hey, we got this product. We like your channel. Would you do this?" And this time my reply back was very quick. I said, "No, thank you. I don't do those things because I don't do paid promotions. I don't want to sit here and sell you what is it? Wireless earphones was the first one. The second one was some mini pedal. I don't want to sit here and sell you guys stuff that I didn't go out and research, that I didn't really get into. This pedal right here, even though it took believe me, 4 years ago, I researched about this. Unfortunately, I missed all of the gear page discussions about how slow this guy is to get his stuff to you. But I did study up on this pedal, and a lot of guitar guys at that time that I respected their opinions, they all said that Tommy's pedals, his hand built stuff, is the way to go. That these are fantastic pedals, and you know what? They're not lying. Look, guys, you guys know I know pedals. I'm a pedal head, and when I tell you something is awesome, believe me. I like to tell you that I hate it because of all the drama it took for me to get it. Yes, Ben, this is the pedal. I opened up the show talking about it, but yeah, that's it. So this is the pedal that, for you guys who are a little bit late, I'll go into this again. This is the 7 Series pedal made by Electric Magic. I ordered this pedal from Tommy in Pennsylvania. He's a builder there. He makes these 4 years ago. 4 years ago, I placed the order for this thing. And I wanted to hate it. Eventually, he got it to me. I wanted to hate it, Ben. I really did. But I love this. This thing sounds awesome. This is one of those really great amp in a box pedals. You know, I'm a big believer. Yeah, Ben. No. I don't mind recapping this because it gets into my point that I research things before I get them. Yeah, I got you. We'll rewind it. I appreciate that too. Thank you. But it's making the point that with this 4 years ago, I researched it, and everybody said that Tommy's builds are fantastic for the price, and that this pedal right here, originally called the Lemon Drop, based on the 7 Series, the 730 Series Vox, is a great amp in a box pedal, and they're not wrong. Like I said, it has taken the place on my pedal board of my Joyo California sound. And I know you guys say, oh, but that's just a $20 pedal. Tommy's is, 5 times that, 6 times. Well, actually 8 times that now. But these Joyo pedals, I will go down swinging telling you that you cannot, for 20 bucks, you can't go wrong with these. These are great. However, it is being replaced with that Lemon Drop pedal because it's like a Vox on steroids, man. It's killer. It's killer, and you can dial in how much fuzz you want on it, and it really works well with the Blues Breaker. So yeah, it's gonna be a keeper on my pedal board, which I looked at the other day, and I did a little mental calculation. I'm like, how the hell did I end up with a pedal board that's worth about €1,000 right now? A pedal board. I guess, like I said, instead of a second amp, I put my money into a pedal board, which wasn't bad because for recording, this ended up being the way to go. The half of that album I recorded with this board, and I'll do the next album or the next commercial stuff I do. I'm not going to use the Laney anymore. It's so much easier to use this. Even with that Torpedo 8, 8 ohm. Using that thing, yeah, the cab, yeah, it's okay, but it's too much of a pain in the butt. This is already here, ready to go, and it's modular. All right, guys, I'm not gonna lie to you. Like I said, we've been having a heat wave here in Europe. I'm not even joking. This is probably one of the hottest days that I've. Pedals are great for the price, and some don't sound great so cheap. Yeah, that's a good point. Is that you can have a pedal like this Joyo California sound for 20 bucks. That sounds great. As a matter of fact, all the Joyo pedals in this line, based on those was that Tech 21 New York blonde pedals and that whole series. These are awesome. This is a great circuit for 20 bucks. There's others up here that, well, actually none that I own because I try to only keep the nice ones, but I've had far more expensive ones that just didn't make it. I've had, anyway, check the videos out, guys. You can, I've gone through a lot of pedals, and the ones that I have here are the ones that have made the cut. So yeah, price is not an indicator of anything. Charlie Stringer, Snarling Dogs from the 90s are all I used or whatever. Yeah, man, I talked about 90s pedals like this Blues Breaker here or this Noble's preamp. These are both 90s pedals. Yeah, those are, there was something about the 90s and pedals. I don't know what it is. And not just pedals. That was a magic time for most audio equipment. Big muff pedals too, especially the ones that were coming out of like this microphone right here. I've talked about. It's my main vocal mic. I got this in the guitar at the Guitar Center in Hollywood in '92 or '93. This is made from the same company of the guys. He told me at the time, guys, it's over the fog of time. But basically, my way I remember it is that the company who makes Big Muff started going into a line of trying to produce condenser microphones, and this is one of them. I've had this for that long. This made by the same company makes the so-called Goodwood era. Yeah, watch my video on Good. Type in upstairs to the right music Goodwood era. I do a whole. It's hilarious. I do a hilarious take on it. But yeah, this is made by the same company as Big Muff. I've had this since '93. It is a fantastic microphone for recording. I do all my vocals with it. But yeah, that stuff from the '90s is good stuff. The Goodwood era. You guys really if you got a moment, take the time to go back and watch my Goodwood era video. It's one of the last things that I recorded before I left Singapore. So when I was recording some of the parts, it's a little echoey because I was in my studio, and it's got a big echo because I had moved all the drums and all the equipment out. But it's hilarious. I still think it's hilarious. There's no such thing as a Goodwood area, just to sum that up. It's not true at all. It has a lot to do with PRS, actually, and competition. Good old capitalism. Anyway, guys, like I'm saying, it's super hot. I'm going to wrap it up here because it is boiling in this room. And I can't open the window because the street noise would be too loud for this recording. Can't open this door over here because that's where I have my big fan ad running. So you just hear, eh. But I did almost 15 minutes here. I'm surprised. I'm pleased. I'm very happy that you guys all showed up tonight. Enjoyed this conversation. Really do enjoy these conversations. I do enjoy this every week, sitting here talking to you guys about this stuff. Just to sum this up, right now you're we'll do guitar manufacturing companies choose the woods they use based on cost and availability. Exactly so. And that's how I summed up that Goodwood era thing. It was really about the fact that PRS was eating their lunch at that time because PRS was producing guitars that were of a better quality. They looked better. They were sourcing a better wood, and it lit a fire underneath Gibson to try to increase the quality of the woods that they were using. The Les Paul Classics from that period that started in '89 and went all the way up through to 2005, 90 to 2005 roughly. Those Les Paul Classics were designed by Sammy Ash, Sam Ash Music, the owner of Sam Ash. He designed those along with Elliot Easton from the Cars. And they specifically chose, in their words, the cheaper quality wood. And yet now, to make these guitars affordable for that time, these Les Paul Classics. Whereas now people say, but hey, that's from the Goodwood era. So no, it's just pure capitalism, like you said, was what was behind that. Anyway, guys, that's it for the evening. Thank you so much for tuning in. This week's video is going to be the unboxing of this pedal. So you have that to look forward to. Kind of spoiled that there, but anyway. And then we will shoot a video of me demoing this, hopefully through that Blues Junior, if I can lug it home tomorrow. Do you use acoustic guitars? Yes, I do very much. As a matter of fact, this week, guys, I wanted to play for you an acoustic tune from my album, but I'm going to actually bump that to next week. Good seeing you, man. Thank you so much. I'm glad you showed up. Hey, better late than never. Next week I'll bring it. Yes, acoustic guitars very much. I want to play you an acoustic track from my album, and I want to talk about microphones. I used the mandolin in that track as well, so I want to get into that. it's so hot that this is not the time for me to be doing that this week. Hopefully next weekend it'll be a little bit cooler in this room and I can hang in here a little bit longer. But until then, you guys take care. I appreciate everybody coming in today, and be safe this week, and I will see you again next Sunday. Take care, guys. Bye-bye.